What if I told you the modern car market isn't broken because prices are high, but because prices are not allowed to fall? Meanwhile, somewhere in America, a dealership lot is quietly overflowing with unsold vehicles. Cars that were supposed to move months ago, well, they're still sitting there collecting dust, accruing interest, and aging out of relevance. Factories are slowing production, workers are being laid off, sales volumes are shrinking, credit is tightening, and buyers are disappearing. And yet, somehow, the sticker prices don't reflect this. No meaningful collapse, no reset, no return to reality. And that's because the modern car market no longer behaves like a free market, it behaves like a managed one. So, today we're going to break down exactly why the car industry can be in ruins while prices remain stubbornly and painfully high. So, once again, just before we take a deep dive, it's imperative, as always, you hit that like button and subscribe so that you get notified the minute we produce another game changing video that affects your future choice of car or SUV. And I promise you'll appreciate it. So, buckle up and let's plunge straight in. So, there was a time when falling demand meant falling prices. That was the deal. If people stopped buying, manufacturers discounted, dealers negotiated, incentives appeared, and inventory cleared. But hey, that world, well, it's long gone. See, the pandemic didn't just disrupt supply chains, it rewired the industry's entire psychology. So when production collapsed, something unexpected happened. Automakers and dealers learned they could survive, even thrive, while selling far fewer vehicles as long as they sold them at much higher prices. And once that lesson was learned, well, hey, there was no incentive to unlearn it. So now let's uncover the most uncomfortable truth. High prices today are not a reflection of strong demand, they're a reflection of controlled scarcity. Manufacturers no longer chase volume, they now chase margins. So when inventory builds, production is cut. When demand weakens, shifts are cancelled. And when prices threaten to fall, supply is quietly reduced. And this is why you see layoffs and factory slowdowns instead of discounts. Jobs disappear far quicker than prices do. But the real anchor holding prices up isn't the factory, it's accounting. See, automakers cannot slash prices without admitting their existing inventory is suddenly worth a lot less. Now, that forces write downs. Write downs damage balance sheets, and balance sheet damage, well, hey, that terrifies investors. So instead of lowering prices, companies protect the sticker price. So prices aren't staying high because the market demands it, they're staying high because the books require it. Now let's talk about the domino that nobody wants to tip, and I'm talking about used cars. So during the pandemic, millions of buyers purchased used vehicles at historically inflated prices. Now, those vehicles are now trade ins. So if new car prices collapse, well, used values collapse alongside them. Now, that means negative equity, loan defaults, repossession spikes, and credit losses. So the industry quietly props up used prices by keeping those new prices elevated. Now, I know it's not about fairness, it's all about containment. And dealerships are trapped too. See, most people don't realize dealers don't own their inventory outright, they actually finance it. So if prices fall quickly, well, dealers lose equity in vehicles that they still owe money on. And that's how dealerships quickly die. So instead of cutting prices aggressively, they slow sales, they stretch timelines, and they wait it out. So selling fewer cars is far preferable for them to selling at a loss. Then there's the disappearance of affordability. Base trims are being eliminated, entry level cars are vanishing, and features that once separated luxury from economy, well, they're now mandatory, not optional. Now, that means the cheapest version of a car today simply costs more than the cheapest version of yesterday ever could. Not because it's better, but because it has to carry the cost of regulation, technology, and transition. The price floor has moved, and sadly, electrification makes this even worse. See, billions are being spent retooling factories, developing batteries, and meeting regulatory targets. So even buyers who never want an EV are paying for the transition through higher gasoline vehicle prices. So sadly, the cost doesn't disappear, it just spreads. Now, zoom out for a minute and look at the buyer. Yes, you and me. Millions have been pushed out of the new car market entirely. High interest rates turn financing into a chokehold. Insurance costs have exploded, and monthly payments, well, they've become unsustainable. So those buyers left. And instead of lowering prices to bring them back, the industry redesigned itself around the buyers who remained: older, wealthier, and less price sensitive. That's who the modern car market serves right now. And this is why the system appears to function, but only barely. Cars last longer, so replacement cycles stretch. Younger buyers never enter the market, and middle income families walk away permanently. The industry survives by shrinking its audience, and that works until it doesn't, because deferred demand doesn't always come back. Sometimes it disappears altogether. People repair instead of replacing. They downsize, they opt out, and they stop caring about new cars altogether. And when enough buyers leave for good, even controlled scarcity can't hold prices up forever. So why aren't the car prices falling? Not because the industry is healthy, but because letting prices fall would expose how fragile it truly is. See, high prices are not a sign of strength, they're actually a defense mechanism. And defense mechanisms only last so long. Eventually, something has to give. So either buyers return or the illusion completely breaks. And when it breaks, I promise you it won't be subtle. So I hope you now have a good understanding of the lack of price adjustments, but sit tight because I have a feeling prices will be forced to go down. So thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.